Nothing has the power to change your life like a word that rings forever in your heart. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, honored dignitaries, and welcome guests. It's one thing to live a good life, a life where you're surrounded by family and friends, where you have everything that you want. You're content with who you are on the inside. It's a totally different thing to live a life that gives back more than you have taken. That, my friends, is a more excellent life. Marcus Aurelius, general, then slave, then gladiator, said, "Brothers, what we do in this life echoes in eternity." There have been a few words spoken in my life that caused me to look at life from a new perspective, to gain insight to my own value, words that empowered me to live a more excellent life. In 1997, I had just taken the job as a store director for a print shop 5 blocks from the state capitol. It was a very stressful job. I had some very important clients, and I knew that because they would come in and they would say to me, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I work for?" "Yes, yes, Judge Abbott and Governor Bush. I remember from last time." I came in the door and I threw my pager and my keys on the buffet and I snuck around the corner. I made it unnoticed. The long, stressful days, you've had those, haven't you? But here in my man cave, I was king of the quiet. And I could check my email or read a book or just forget about the day. And then came that knock at the door. Actually, it was more of a pounding at the door, and then the door flew open, and in comes my 2-year-old, and she goes straight for my lap. And it's not long before she has completely rearranged everything on my desk and rebooted the computer. So I set her on the floor and went back to what I was doing. And I look up, and she has taken every book off the bookshelf. It's now ready for moving. After the 15th, "No, that's Daddy's, and please, don't touch that," I found the word that worked. "Get out!" She stood. She walked slowly and quietly to the door. She grabbed the doorknob on her tippy toes, and she started to back out. A little crocodile tear started on her face, and she said, "Daddy's girl?" Those words will be emblazoned on my heart to the very last beat. They cause me to look at life through another's eyes. A few summers later, I was in my hometown. We were having a family birthday party at the park. And we had cake and ice cream and watermelons and aunts, and uncles too. And in fact, my aunt had just remarried, and so we had a new uncle that we didn't really know very well. My boys, well, they were boying. How many of you have sons? You know what I mean by boying. They were running and jumping and climbing and chasing everything and everyone in the park. I looked up at one point and knew Uncle Terry had my 4-year-old in a bear hug. Well, my 2-year-old came to his rescue, and he laid a kick that would have split the uprights from midfield just under Uncle Terry's kneecap. He let out a yell, well, I'm not going to repeat that here, and lit out after my 2-year-old through the park. He chased him everywhere. I sat as calmly as I could at the picnic table. Suddenly, Zach slides between my feet. He's underneath the table. Uncle Terry comes to the other side, and he says, "Come out from under there, boy. Your daddy won't protect you now." Before I could respond, my 4-year-old jumps up on the table, and in his best, Marcus Aurelius says, "Yes, he will." That's his job. Those words gave me insight to my value to him. Should you ever question your purpose in this life, ask those who depend on you, friends, spouses, children. My wife Karen and I had been married close to 10 years when she came to me and she spoke those words that strike fear and anxiety in the heart of a man. We need to talk. I've always viewed myself as fat and unlovable. I had sabotaged every relationship in my life. I knew that she was going to say to me, "This is over." I kept telling myself, "She's found you out. In fact, she's found someone better. You're going to lose it all." I was a nervous wreck all day. Knots in my stomach, fear, anger. I didn't know if I wanted to be mad or throw up. We waited all day to find that time when we could be alone, just the two of us, and talk. When that time finally came, we sat down on the bed together, and she took my hand in hers. And she said, "I chose you to be my husband because God sent you to be a gift to me. When you tell me that you're ugly and how terrible you are and what a mistake I made, you hurt me. I don't see you that way, and I need you to see you the way I do. I love you just the way you are, and I have forgiven you for everything." Those words empowered me to live a more excellent life. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I don't like the man I see looking back at me, and then I hear those words, "Daddy's girl? Yes, he will. That's his job. And I love you just the way you are." I challenge you to live a more excellent life, because nothing has the power to change your life like a word that rings forever in your heart.